It's a project Mumbai has waited for over 2 decades. A project that promises to redraw not just the city's map, but its future. This is the Navi Mumbai International Airport and is finally ready for takeoff on 25th of December. And with it comes a shift in the connectivity, in real estate, in the very idea of what greater Mumbai could actually become. Today on the show, we will decode the airport that, may just redefine India's financial capital and also tell you what this means for how we fly, how we live, and how this region grows. To discuss this, I'm being joined by Sanjay Lazar, CEO, Aviala's consultants, aviation expert and author, and Ghulam Zia, Senior Executive Director, Knight Frank India. Thanks for being there with us on the show. So Sanjay and Ghulam, let me just begin by asking both of you, after nearly, 2 decades of wait, Navi Mumbai Airport is finally becoming this reality. And in one headline each, what does this airport, fundamentally change for Mumbai? First, Sanjay, please, you go for it.
Thank you, Malika, for having me on the show. For me, in one line, this is, a fulfillment of 3.5 decades of dreams. I first saw this dream, people spoke of it 35 years ago. So it's a wonderful thought that the airport will start.
Yes. And Mr. Zia, what's your take on it?
Well, for me, this is a redefinition of Mumbai as a global city. One of those where you have two airports to add to the infrastructure of the city. So it's a great step forward to establish Mumbai as one of the biggest infrastructure destination around the world.
Absolutely. And just, I would like to make a correction there. I am Himakshi Bahugna and not Malika Mishra. So, yes, so taking the discussion forward, Sanjay, from an aviation lens, does this new airport finally, make Navi Mumbai a true extension of Mumbai rather than just a satellite city? Or will this capacity divide the city further?
Well, I think it takes the Mumbai region, like my colleague on the show rightfully said, Ghulam Zia, that it enlarges the scope of Mumbai. And Mumbai becomes a mega city. I mean, it already was a mega city, but this takes it to another level. And it'll keep growing. And mind you, I see the boundaries for this airport, probably extending all the way to West Pune on that eastern side. So it's going to be a huge game changer in terms of traffic, both domestically and more importantly, internationally, as and when that begins in a year's time. I see it's not going to divide Mumbai, but it's going to, you'll have select flights going from CSMIA and you'll have different flights going from NMIA. I think it'll be exciting when you look at a city like New York, for example, or London, which has 4 airports in its proximate city district. It's all divided and it grows the city, radially, which is what I expect Mumbai to become.
Absolutely. And also extending that, Sanjay, India rarely sees, a successful dual airport play. So do you believe that Mumbai can actually crack a model where both the airports, complement each other? And also, can travelers actually expect lower fares, better slot availability, or more international routes?
Well, to put a point on that, currently, we see the introductory fares at MMIA on websites substantially higher. I do not understand why, but perhaps in time it will settle down. But I do think it's going to bring down fares overall. It's also going to, I think Mumbai can crack it pretty easily. But the trick here is going to be transport, last mile. And we've not yet cracked that bit, the commuting from, say, CSMIA to NMIA or, North Mumbai to NMIA. That's going to be the tricky part. But I do believe that by and by, with an aggressive chief minister who's so bullish on infrastructure in Maharashtra, I do not see that to be a long-term challenge. But what I see very excitingly, and what Ghulam Zia can actually assert to more, is the development of realty, office space, residential space, SEZs in and around NMIA. It's going to change the landscape of the Mumbai-Pune expressway in my view.
Absolutely. And, I will be coming to Mr. Zia shortly on the, infra side. But first up, I have this question about aviation that I'd like to, finish in this, as we are talking right now. So you've often spoken about infrastructure dictating the airline strategy. So with an airport built from the scratch, do you see this as a change for Mumbai to actually reposition itself as a genuine South Asia hub, something that India lost to Dubai and Singapore?
This is the first baby steps Mumbai is taking to become a global hub. Um, I'm very critical of infrastructure, as you heard on your channel, mostly because I believe infrastructure is the soul of, infrastructure connectivity is the soul of any new multimodal transport hub that NMIA is going to create. So I do think there's some work to be done. I also feel we lost a few opportunities in capacity building. We are going to be 90 million MMPA in phase 4 in this airport, whereas Dubai is already at 90 million this year. So I think, few things, but I look at it largely in a positive aspect. We are going to break some of the Dubai or the Middle East cartels, the hub that they've created. We lost those opportunities over the last 30 years. I think this is baby steps. We've not got there, and I do believe the chief minister has already mentioned that we will build a third airport to the north of the city. So those three, when you look 10 years down the line, when we have three airports, I think we would have cracked the Rubicon of long distance travel and having our own Indian global hub. Delhi, mind you, is also on the way to doing the same thing, the NCR. So very exciting times for aviation in India.
Yeah, so we might crack the Rubicon as mentioned by Mr. Sanjay there. And Mr. Zia, let me now bring you in. We are already seeing, the land prices in Ulve, Panvel, Pushpak Nagar skyrocketing. So are these prices reflecting genuine long-term demand, or are we simply just seeing speculative flipping because of the airport buzz?
Well, there are two sides to it. On one side, the airport, while I agree that has taken almost 2 decades to get ready to where we are, but in the interim, lot of land price escalation has already happened. So when we see this piece of infrastructure actually operational, there will be another wave of price increases, etc. However, that, as you said about the speculation part of it right now, because it's happening only on land side, it is bound to be speculative. The growth that overall that even Chief Minister has spoken about creating Mumbai 3, talking about lots of new smaller smart cities, satellite cities around the airport, and the NANA region itself, which is the new aviation zone around the airport. Now, all of these are planned for future, but at the moment when we are looking at these land price escalations, I would tend to agree with you that right now it is very speculative. In times to come, it will stabilize, but growth shall happen, because the growth does not talk only about price rise of land or finished goods. It's about how the growth is happening, how much of space being absorbed by, say, data centers, offices, retail spaces, hospitality. If you look at Delhi, the whole aviation zone around the airport is about hospitality. Some 19 or 20 odd hotels are already there, huge number of aerocity, that huge amount of aerocity activity happening. We are expecting similar action here in Mumbai as well around Panvel. So that is the growth. And mind you, growth does not only mean that escalation of prices, it also means expansion of overall lifestyle, expanding the horizons, etc., creating new skylines. That is bound to happen. But price rise should not be what you should actually connect it as only parameter for growth of that city.
Okay, so prices should be not really linked to this airport buzz, and we should be looking at the expansion. That's what you're suggesting. And also, Knight Frank, tracks the micro market behavior very closely. So, do you see Panvel evolving into the next business district the way BKC reshaped Mumbai 2 decades ago?
It's going to take time. Let's be very very clear about this, Himangshi. We are talking about, if you spoke about BKC, let's not forget BKC has taken 4 decades to be what it is today. I agree with overall growth in the economic activity and the expansion of GDP at much faster a rate of growth of 7 to 8% per annum for next decade or so will give much faster growth to a aspirational CBD that you are hinting at, but don't expect it to be ready and rocking in next decade or so. I'm once again talking about slow patterns and but definite patterns. And that is what even CBDs like BKC have told us. Even Nariman Point has reached that stage over a period of time. In close to where we are talking about in Panvel, we have already tried CBD of Belapur, which is still, I won't call it a damp squib, but still long way from establishing itself as a huge office buzz activity. But in case of Panvel around airport, because of this entire airport coming in, operationalizing, getting ready for activities, and then creating a life around it will give a new lease of life. And that is what it is, that you have to wait and watch. It's not something which will happen overnight. I would still estimate a decade for this to become as buzzing a location as a cyber hub in Delhi or BKC in Mumbai.
Okay, okay. So one needs to be really patient, considering that growth there. And also that brings me to the connectivity. And this question is for both of you because that's the real glue with the MTHL, the new metro lines and the coastal linkages also. So does this airport essentially unlock these, big infra projects? Is this that missing piece that makes everything else fall into place? Sanjay, I'd like you to go first.
Well, for me, the when I look at an airport in any part of the world, the principal question is, can I get there by a metro or a tube or an underground train station? And in this case, I cannot get to NMIA, and that's where I give it, minus marks. That's probably the only thing. Yeah, it goes to, they're planning to build a metro which will extend to a particular point, maybe 5 kilometers away from the airport or 7 kilometers. They will then have a bus. So it's going to take time. And according to me, it took, you know, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport 30, 40 years to get a metro, which it's just got. I hope, NMIA doesn't take that long, because I also see the need for a high-speed train from, say, Pune that brings in traffic till a Pune airport is built. I see all the surrounding areas need to develop. Even the roads have just been developed to the peripheral areas of the airport. I think there's quite a bit more that the government needs to do, and that's in the lap of the Maharashtra government. I am hoping and praying that they crack that. Of course, we've got the Atal Setu, which brings people from South Bombay pretty quickly. But North Bombay is going to have a harrowing time getting here. That's something that they need to work on, pronto.
Absolutely. And Mr. Zia, what's your view on the same?
Well, infrastructure is a work in progress story. Please understand, when we got the first the Bandra Worli sea link, it took almost about 30 years. I recall that they had taken away my playground where I used to play in Bandra for casting yard, and when I was a child, about 14, 15, in my teens. When I took about 30 years for this project to see in life operational. But that has changed in recent times. I would say in last 10 years, we have seen lots of these metros, roads. Talk about coastal road and Atal Setu. A lot of these projects are happening at a acceptable pace. And that's the game changer. So we need to be patient. We are talking about a blueprint. It's a huge infrastructure improvement happening in the whole city. So I would say the whole city is work in progress. Another 5, 7 odd years, we will see a new phase of the infrastructure in the city. And that's where, when the networking effects, etc., click in, there's the time we will see everything changing. If you think about, say, a city like London, where the whole life is on the trains and subways and metros, etc., Mumbai is reaching there. Mind you, the regional trains that my co-panelist Sanjay was talking about, that's something which is still missing. Delhi already has a RRTS, Regional Road Rail Transport Corridor. Mumbai desperately needs it, from where, like, say, Mumbai to Goa, Mumbai to Aurangabad, Mumbai to Nasik, and these destinations should be in hour and a half maximum kind of a travel time, which is doable. When you look at London and many other places, 200 kilometer per hour average speed is absolutely on. We are still scratching just about 100 kilometer per hour in our railway line. So we have a long way to go. But as I said, this is work in progress. We need to be patient. Future is very bright.
Okay, so we need to be patient. The future seems pretty bright, but I really hope that it doesn't take that long that, people start facing issues reaching that place itself. And, Sanjay, coming back to you, there's a debate on whether India still builds airports that become actually congested too quickly. So has Navi Mumbai been designed future forward enough? Or will you repeat that the late expansion problem we saw at major airports earlier?
It's I'd say a 50-50. It's not a miss completely, but it's not a hit. Like I pointed out, when you look at, for example, Dubai or China, when they build, they're building 10 years forward. We unfortunately took 30 years to build this, and we've built maybe 5 years, 10 years forward, not more than that. We could have done more in the Naina NMIA airport. We've done 90 million passengers per annum in phase 4, which is what Dubai does today. So fair assumption, because if you count CSMIA, we are looking at 150 million. I would like Mumbai to be closer to 200 million, given the kind of global metropolis it is. Similarly with Delhi, and I think we need to think a little more broader and bigger canvas as far as our airports go. I also feel that airport builders, like the Adanis, like GMR, like Brookfield, need to start looking at airports as multimodal transport living hubs, where, like Zia said, we have an aero city, we have residences, we have start
Yeah.
developing, planning them like that. The sky is the limit for us.
Yes, absolutely. So, I would have loved to, extend this conversation even further, but I'm really afraid that we are running short of time. But thank you so much, Mr. Zia and Sanjay Lazar.